Hello, folks. We are just setting up for our live tonight. So welcome. Welcome. We are just setting up and getting ready for our live tonight. And I'll be inviting Lorena up here in a minute to join me. And there she is.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
Okay, how are you?
I'm great. So it's 6:58. I kind of wanted to let some folks come on.
Yeah, of course.
And just say hi and let them jump on, and then we can rock and roll.
Wonderful.
So, hello, Rose. I thank you for coming on tonight, and Judy, thanks for being here.
Hi,
And
Mary Jo. Hi, Alice. My friends are jumping on. Hi,
that's
Judy.
great. I'm excited to have them and meet them and share this with them. So I think that's all great.
Wonderful. We're just giving it a minute or so, letting people jump on.
Exactly. So that we just start once and not a few times. And with Instagram, it's really interesting. You don't actually know how long it's going to take to connect. So hopefully we've given it enough time to let everybody join on, and then we'll give it another half a minute. Get started. So we're excited to have all of you here tonight, and to meet Lorena and to hear her great story. So give us another half a minute and we will get rolling. I love those red flowers behind you tonight.
Oh,
Is that Valentine's Day?
I guess so, sure. Why not?
Part of this is loving yourself, right?
That is so true, so true.
So, all right, I think we're going to get started. And thanks everyone for being here tonight. Tonight is the first of the Taking the Leap series. And it's really about having conversations with women who are 40 plus and who have gone out and built their dream business and changed their life. And my hope is that it inspires you, that it empowers you. And if you're thinking about doing something different, that this will give you some information, and keep listening, because all of the people that are going to be coming on have an amazing story, and sharing it with you, I hope, will help you take that action going forward. So welcome, Lorena.
Thank you.
Tonight for the first in the series, I'm so honored to have Lorena Mann here. We actually met about a year ago exactly at this time. Yes, we met online. And I, how people come into your life and you feel really like they were meant to be in your life. Well, that's how I feel about Lorena. So I'm so thrilled to have her here tonight and to be doing this with you. So thank you. And so I'm going to let Lorena tell you about herself and tell you her story and what have you been doing for your work and your career, and also what inspired you to make the changes and the transition now? So take it away, Lorena.
Oh boy. Well, thank you so much for having me, Caryn, and thank you for creating this platform for women like us who do we transition all the time. I think, every day is a transition as far as I'm concerned. But career-wise, I have been in the entertainment business my entire life. And whether it's performing on stage and and that's where my education was, why I moved to New York, and what I did for the longest time, or working behind the scenes in entertainment, to producing large scale events with celebs, all for good causes, women's rights, human rights, things like that. So I've done a lot of that kind of stuff. And when the pandemic hit, I lost my corporate job, my comfort zone, and my everyday grind, so to speak.
Like many people.
Yes, like many of us, and I thought to myself, well, I've got to do something, right? So I've always been interested in alternative medicine or holistic medicine, and healing on your own without having to dive into medications and things like that. Although I'm not against that at all.
Mm-hmm.
There's a time and a place for everything, I believe. But I've always been attracted to that holistic and alternative medicine, and so I started to explore places in the area. This is kind of like how it got going for me.
And you're in New York, right? You
I
live
am
in
in New
Manhattan.
York.
Oh, you
Yes.
live outside of
I
Manhattan.
live in the lower Hudson Valley in New York, yes, and
Uh-huh.
right by Jersey too. And so I was looking for a place to go because I was having some problems breathing. I was getting bronchitis a lot, and I'm a singer, so
That's a challenge.
I have to be able to breathe. That's important. And I found this place in Chestnut Ridge, New York, called Salt of the Earth Healing Center, and they have a Himalayan salt cave. And so I went there and I did a couple of sessions, and it was just so beautiful and so opening, like it really helped me
Mm-hmm.
physically. And I started to explore other things that they offered there. Lovely, lovely owners, Susan and Cheryl. And I did a couple of sessions for functional medicine with them. And it really helped me, identify what was going on with my body and how I could respond to the right foods, how I could respond to the right alternative medical treatments for myself and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. I mean, I was really going through some physical and emotional challenges, and they were wearing me down, just really wearing me down. And then, also, corporate America all of a sudden just crashed all around me.
Right.
So it was kind of like just a release, but it freaked me out. I mean, so anyway, I was doing these wonderful sessions with these people, and the Cheryl said to me, why don't you try a Reiki session, because you have a lot of stuff that you're holding in your body. You're holding all these emotions. You're holding your anger in for, whatever. Could be past
Right.
relationships or work or, whatever it was. So anger and disappointment and frustration and all of these things that I was not able to let go of. And
Had you ever done Reiki before?
no, I had never done Reiki, but I knew about it, and I knew that it was energy healing. It was a Japanese technique, that it was, alternative and holistic treatment for the body, and very much like massage. And I love massages, although Reiki is not massage. I should just clarify that.
Yes.
But so I did this as part of her recommendation, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I don't know how to explain it. I just continued to go. It's like that, when you exercise or when you go to PT or when you do something, you have to keep going till you
Right.
really get into that rhythm and your body responds to it. And so I responded to it to the point where I was just so fascinated by what was happening that I asked my Reiki practitioner, Lisa LaCava is her name, and how can I find out more information about this? And she said, well, why don't you take my class? And I said, okay, I'd
Okay.
love to learn more, sure. And I was in class, and I was just so taken by it that I knew it was something I had to learn more and something I had to do. I just kept saying to myself, I have to do this. I have to do this. This is what I've been wanting to do. This is what I've been waiting for. It kind of came to
Was
me.
this aha moment that you had?
It was an aha moment, so I continued to study with Lisa, and I worked myself all the way through to my Reiki master level, which is what I am doing now. And I have wonderful, wonderful clients.
Was that
And
all of that online? I mean, did you actually do the whole thing during COVID, or you did it in
no,
person?
it was before COVID. I should say that I started before COVID. So my Reiki level 1 was in person. Reiki level 2 was in person too, but we were all masked and everybody was vaccinated, and we,
Mm-hmm.
you know, did the distancing thing and stuff like that. And then it took a very long time to prepare for the master level. You know, there was a lot of work that went into doing that. And so, became a Reiki master, and, I absolutely love it. There's so many ways you can help people, but somebody asked me a question the other day about, well, what brings you happiness? What brings you peace?
Right.
And I said, well, peace is happiness for me, right? So when I am working with my clients and I am able to help them, I see them at peace for that 1 hour that we're together, or however long the session is. Usually it's an hour, and we're working together, and afterwards, and we talk and everything, and I could see and feel the difference in them. That brings me happiness. That brings me peace. That brings me, so much joy that I can help somebody that way,
And you feel their joy. I'm assuming that
Yeah.
energy transfers and you feel
Well,
their joy.
everything is energy, right? Everything is energy. So, and Reiki really is about getting all that trapped energy in your body, all those trapped emotions, and releasing them so they don't manifest physically. They cause all other kinds of ailments, and so I've been able to work with some really great people, and just going on from that, I studied crystal therapy, and I got certified in that, and I'm totally all about my crystals. I have my citrine crystal on. and I work with guided meditation. My program, Tune Insight, is about tuning in to yourself. The answers are within. The guided meditation is specific and customized for my clients.
I'm going to ask you a little bit about that in a minute, but I'm wondering, back in your story, so what were the keys really to you making those changes? Like, if you had to identify a couple of things that really, said, all right, I'm going to do this. Were there things that really stand out for you that said, okay, this is going to help me make that change, or this is really going to drive me to make these changes?
Well, I think that, first of all, I created the time for myself. Even though it was a pandemic, I was still starting to get other work and freelance work and stuff like that. But I really took the time and created the time for myself, right? To study. And I
needed that space.
Needed the space. And also, I listened to the signs. The world opened up and said, do this. So I think we get signs and we get messages all the time, and you have to be able to receive them and listen. And sorry, I see my friends joining here. I love it.
You can say hello. It's okay.
I love it. But I would have to say that probably one of the biggest things is that I committed to educating myself, and I committed to research, and committed to myself, and I thought, if I don't take that time, if I don't take that moment to really do something for myself, whether I wasn't planning on becoming a practitioner. I just wanted to
learn how to do it, right?
I just wanted to feel better, and so it really blossomed into, oh, I definitely have to do this. There's just no question.
It's interesting because a lot of entrepreneurs really are solving their own issues when they're starting a business, right?
Yeah.
And you went into it not thinking about it as a business, but really as helping you to solve your challenges. And now you're stepping back and saying, okay, now I want to help other people solve theirs.
Correct. And we always, I don't know if everybody does, their careers, everything that they're interested in or that they love to do, and I think we go in and out of those things. So I love the fact that it's a transition, and this is in this part of my life, and at this age, I'm transitioning to this,
Right.
I absolutely love it. I mean, I find other ways to heal. I'm a singer, so I sing and I heal through that as well. So, yeah.
So here you are today,
Yeah.
and you're an energy healer. You've still retained being an event producer
Yeah.
extraordinaire, and still,
Thank
you
you.
know, producing programs that are really great. And somehow you've brought all these passions together. So where do you see yourself going? I mean, I think one of the things that I heard you say was about tuning into yourself and also using your voice to
Yeah.
help others. Are those the things that are sort of the threads now for you as you move forward?
Well, it's interesting, Karen. It's a great question. First, I have to say that, yes, I am a singer and I'm a performer, and I keep thinking about, and it'll come to me eventually, how I can use my voice in healing, not just
Mm-hmm.
speaking voice, but my singing voice,
Uh-huh.
whether I, sing in a meditation form, and use it that way, or what have you. So I think that I do know that when I make my custom guided meditations for my clients, I really love, you know recording them and delivering them with that really soothing voice, and all of that, using that gift, using my voice to create the space for people to heal. So that's a good
Yeah.
question.
I know you created one for me, so I know, and I love, it's interesting because when I've done yoga classes or meditation classes, it's really about the connection with the person. And sometimes you've had this amazing experience and you want to go back to that moment, and it's their voice that triggers that. And I actually have had a couple of different people that have created tapes for me so that it brings you right back.
Correct.
Your voice is so powerful that it just brings you back to that moment. And then sometimes you can add like smell. I've had these
Correct.
amazing scents that, when I've been sort of guided through that, and it'll bring me back
Yes.
to literally that moment, and I can picture
Yes.
it. And those senses are just so powerful in
Yes.
guiding you with that.
Yes. Yes.
So here you are today. What are a couple of things, like one or two things that had someone given you, said, oh, watch out for this, or just go for this. What are some things that you would pass on to others if they're thinking about making a change in what they're doing and going for it? Are there things that come to mind?
Well, I think, first of all, I've had a lot of women in my careers, and a few men too, who have been extremely supportive and always willing to open a door for me and to, move me along. Um, so I am grateful for all of that. But, I was in a conversation with a friend of mine the other day, Clarissa, who's watching, and we were talking about how we ask questions to ourselves. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that if somebody along the way would have told me a better way to ask myself questions, that would have been so helpful to me. So, passing this on to all of you and to anybody watching this after our live is over. It's about how we talk to ourselves, and so, for instance, instead of asking yourself the question, why don't I do this, or why don't I become a Reiki master, or why don't I do this, or why can't I, those are kind of like a setup for stinking thinking, so to speak.
Uh-huh.
Why meaning like, because you're not educated, because you're too old, because you're
And you probably would not have thought about that question to ask yourself even
right.
in the
Correct.
first place. Like,
Correct.
why would you have done that?
Correct. So instead of that, when we're educating or we're looking for things in our life and we're transitioning and we're taking the leap,
Mm-hmm.
ask yourself, how can I do this? How can I educate myself? How can I learn more about? How can I try this? Who can I ask? Those are action questions,
Right.
And so those are the types of things that I feel, if someone would have told me that sooner, I think the light bulb would have went off quicker.
Right. But you never know, because I do believe that things happen in the right moment in time.
Yes, yes, yes,
And
yes,
as we're thinking about, is it about women who are 40-year-old or a 50-year-old or a 20-year-old, or,
yes,
I do think that change, people make changes in the time that they're meant to make them. And what you might have done 5 years earlier or 2 years or even 6 months earlier in a different moment in time might not have been the same. So,
True.
you know,
Very
I
true.
do believe that, you know, things happen in the right time and hopefully in the right way, but we
Very true.
all can learn from one another.
Right.
So having, you know, educating ourselves and having more knowledge and understanding the questions to ask ourselves or to have others ask us. You know, I'm a firm believer, and honestly, my friends who are on here know, and I see my brothers on here too,
Mhm.
ask the hard questions,
Yeah.
because sometimes we're not willing to ask ourselves those hard
Correct.
questions, right? And sometimes you might get mad at the person for that moment or that instant, like, oh my God, I can't believe you're asking me this. But it does make you think about it.
Yes.
And forcing you to go deeper and to take that extra step and to think, maybe I'm not, maybe I'm just like, you know, going on the surface here. But to go deeper and to really think about it is really what helps a lot of people to take that action.
Yes.
And all the ideas in the world, unless you're going to take some kind of action, you're going to be stuck, you know? And I think part of this whole discussion around transition is about taking the action. And
Yes.
actually, and it could be a small step, it could be a big step, it could be the leap, you know, or your leap
Right.
could be just a baby step
Well, that's what
towards
I
where you
think.
want to go.
That's exactly right. How can I do this? How can I take that step? It may just be, well, today I'm just going to read a chapter from this book or something like that. Or today I'm going to make a phone call, you know? So, and look, I didn't just start practicing Reiki or learning about Reiki yesterday. You know, I've been doing this now for 2 years. That's
Right.
not a long time, but it's 2 years of development, you know, and working on that and asking myself those types of questions. So, you know, I know we're running out of time, but I wanted to just say if there's anybody on the watching who would like to know more about what I do or want to just talk about Reiki, please reach out to me. Caryn will tag me you know,
Absolutely.
when this is finished, and I'd be happy to give anybody a 15-minute complimentary session if you're interested in it. You know, very, very powerful, and be happy to do that for all of you who's interested in joining.
Yeah, I was going to ask, I was going to tell people, you know, I was going to say to you, how can they find you? And
Yeah.
obviously they can go to tune-insight.com, and it's actually on the advertisement. I will also put it into, I'll post it on Instagram when we're actually
Yeah.
done with the conversation. We're also saving this so that people can actually go back and see it. And also, I have to say, what's amazing is you don't only do this for people, you do it for animals as well.
I
I
do.
know we were having a conversation the other day, and you were telling me you like the horse whisperer. I mean, you are actually doing this, you know, in a horse farm. Am I correct?
I am. Yeah. So I do. I've educated in animal Reiki, practitioner for animals, and I've worked with cats and dogs, but I've gone to a horse rescue farm in North Bergen, New Jersey, and I'm going to start working with horses who have physical ailments and who are, you know, in pain or just have challenges physically, or who have some emotional issues, you know, and a lot of them have come there because they've been abused. So, you know, they're working through their stuff too, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited to.
It's amazing.
I'm very, very excited to do that. Also, you know, I just created a YouTube channel, so you know, we'll put all that stuff in
We
the
will
links.
totally share all of that. And also, you know, it would be great if at some point you come back and tell us how you're doing with it. You
I would
know,
love to. I
I
would love
think, you
to.
know, part of it is sharing where you've come from, where you are today, but it's also what's it going to look like down the road? You know, I mean, do you have any idea what you want it to look like? I mean, do you want to just do Reiki, or do you want to keep doing what you're doing? Do you like
Well,
the balance and the challenge of both? Because that's me. I do like that balance.
yeah, right now that's fine, but I think the producing and all of that stuff will move away, you know, and this will become stronger and more prominent in my life. I do think the singing will remain, you know, because that is just.
It's your joy, huh?
It is my joy. Yes, yes, it
For
is.
those of you who have not heard Lorena sing, she is amazing. And this summer, I had the opportunity. It was like the only time I went away during COVID this summer. But Lorena's in a mastermind that I'm in as well and run.
Yeah.
And 5 of us came down to New York and New Jersey and had the opportunity to listen to you sing. And it was like, we were just blown away. So
Thank you.
if you have the opportunity and you see Lorena put up her live singing at any of these places throughout New York and New York State, definitely go, because she's really quite amazing.
Thank
So
you so much. You know, Caryn, I do have to thank you not only for inviting me on here tonight and for letting me talk about my transition and how I took the leap, but also to thank you and your mastermind class, because that really, when I met you in Clubhouse and you and I bonded over producing events and things like that,
right.
but when you invited me into the mastermind class and I worked and met some incredibly smart and lovely women over a year or so ago, I think it was really because of that it launched my website, and it really it really moved me into taking action. So thank you for that. I wanted to just say one thing before we go. So I draw some cards, you know, during my session. So I drew a numerology card for the group. I did a little meditation and drew a numerology card for the group, and the card is completion. It's it's the number 9, and it's completion. And let me see, I wrote down here what it said so I could just read it to you all. There's a very long-winded explanation, but basically it is, this card indicates a time of necessary endings and completion in preparation for new beginnings. So how's that for taking the leap, Caryn?
I think that's great for taking the leap. And I have to say, you know, we all came up with a word for the year, and I actually had 3. And one of them was consistency. One of them was curation, consistency, and completion. Yes. And that was curate what you do, be consistent about it, and finish everything that you start. And so that word for me totally resonates, you know.
And my word was honor, and that was to honor myself, to honor my gift, to honor my body, to honor my emotions, my spirit, everything. So yeah.
Well, I'm really excited that you're here tonight. I'm excited to launch Taking the Leap. I hope that it inspires other women. And if you know women whose story you think needs to be told, and you know they're happy to share it, I would love to be able to have the conversation with them. So thank you for being here tonight. I look forward to hearing what the next chapter looks like for you.
Yes.
I think you have so much energy and spirit to give the world that it's a true honor to do this with you. So thank you. And thanks everyone for coming tonight.
Yes,
I have 2 of these conversations next week. One is with Alyssa Zonghetti, and the other is with Kiara Shannon. One is on Tuesday next week. One is on Thursday. These are going to be, some of them will be on Instagram. Some of them will be on Facebook and LinkedIn. So just keep, I'll be posting them. We'll be promoting them. Please invite your friends, and just know that we're going to share this as much as we can. We just want, it's about paying it forward to help other women to take that action, to take those steps. And it's hard. And we all know it's not the easiest thing to do, to make these changes and to keep putting one foot in front of the other and getting up and doing that every day. But, you know, I think we all honor it, and we're excited to do that and share it with other people. So if they're thinking about it, that they can do the same. So again, thanks, Lorena. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next week. Thanks for taking the leap with us. Good night.
Good night.